Even though he has not always been protected, he's always been a protector.
Broken people saw that signal and done what they thought they needed to do to the request that I was making, and they just chose improperly.
He never told me nothing. I knew nothing about it.
I feel like everyone in my family, in some form or way, has been fondled or molested or raped in some form or fashion.
I couldn't understand how God was in me because I was that.
There was tolerated versus celebrated.
There's a wrong way and right way to do everything, and Larry always seemed to choose the wrong way.
Yes, I was drugged and raped, and that happened when I was 17 years old. Misfits have an ability to stick out. But if the misfit accept that they absolutely cannot fit in, then they become someone with an X factor.
Multimedia personality, comedic commentator, songwriter, recording artist, spiritual leader, author, and actor. Larry D. Reid is the founder of the MBN Network, owner of LDR Enterprises based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and the spiritual leader of the Reformation Church of Atlanta. You can catch Larry Reid on the BET Plus original series Kingdom Business and on American Gangsta Track Queens. Streaming online at BET.plus. Church Critic by Dr. Larry D. Reid. An examination of the Larry Reid Live show perspective. Purchase a copy today by logging on to LarryReidLive.com. That's LarryReidLive.com. Stay connected to Larry Reid Live. Take a moment and like the Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube page and hit the bell. Text LRL to 404-999-7527. That's the words LRL to 404-999-7527. And get notified when we go live. Become a member of Patreon. Log on to patreon.com/Larry Reid Live. Sign up, then download the Patreon app and turn on your notifications. Get connected today.
We're about to have a conversation. Hello, my name is Larry D. Reid, and I am the host of Larry Reid Live, which is your most favorite digital entertainment news and talk show out here on the social media streets, and is the most trusted social media platform as it relates to all things religious and spirituality. Let me tell you this. We are about to find out exactly how did we get here. And when I say here, what I'm talking about, there was a video that went terribly viral. I think it was about a week ago. How long ago was that? I don't remember. It felt like a week ago. It may have been less than that. And I'm going to show you that viral video. And then we're going to understand the world by which something like that occurred. These are real people with real feelings. There are children involved. If you saw my post, I said the victims, if we want to use that word, in this situation would be the children. I was married for 18 years, and I have 2 daughters, and we divorced. It wasn't like these other divorces I see, but the pain is the same. We divorced amicably, but it was still the most painful thing I've ever experienced. It feels like death, and it's horrendous. My eldest daughter and my youngest daughter have been affected by the divorce of their parents. My youngest daughter was affected more than my oldest daughter. So when it comes to these kind of conversations, I have a lot of empathy on both ends. I do not know Prophet EJ at all. I still don't know who he is, but I can see a man hurting. I can see a man that is possibly frantic. I would even say, and this is my words, I think that there is some kind of emotional and mental battle that he is fighting that is triggered by this situation. And I did wonder, I was sent a picture and I didn't put it out of his ex-wife, which is the mother of these beautiful children, and she was being embraced by the authorities there at the church after they came there to confiscate or get in custody the children. And I saw it, and in that picture, you could feel the pain, the anguish, feeling like this was my last resort. That's what I got from the picture, but I did not know. I did not know how we got to this point. I see you in the chat. You're saying, I've been divorced 3 times. I've been divorced. So you understand the pain and you understand the challenges that something like this can take you through. So let's look at that video. She's already in the green room, and she's also along with her law firm. And we're going to have the conversation, get to know who she is and how did we get here. Take a moment right now and let everybody know that you know that we are about to have this conversation.
Hold your mind. I can't touch your mind. Look at your neighbor really quickly and touch their mind. Look at your neighbor quickly and touch their mind. Everything okay? Perry, is everything okay there? Is everything okay? Sorry? Coming to speak to you for a second. Absolutely, absolutely. I'll be right back, church. I'm sorry. No worries, no worries. You guys just pray. Pray. Is everything okay?
Do you mind coming down and speaking with us for a second?
Sorry?
Do you mind coming down and speaking with us
Coming
for
to
a
speak
second?
to you for a second?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I'll be right back, church.
Sorry for the interruption, everyone.
No worries. You guys just pray. Pray.
Now, most of the world saw this and they were really into getting to know what happened just in that space. And I hate to say this, but the reality is, you guys, when it comes to our community and our culture, we really have an appetite to know what is in our business and to know what we really aren't supposed to know. And to just eat up the salacious, and the more crazy it is and often wrong it is, I don't know what it is, but we at least give it a click and a view. Many of us have built careers, platforms off of that very human desire to know. Very early on when I started on this platform, I realized that, and I began to change the way that I approach things, because these are real people. And today we have a real person that is trusting our community to give voice to what happened from her end. And we have her here, and she goes by Mari. And she's absolutely beautiful. The picture I use, I don't know why they sent me that. This lady is so beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And seems to be a great energy. So we're about to bring her on right now. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Whew. I'm okay. I'm here. I'm present with you.
Yeah, I know it's difficult to probably watch the video and to hear my commentary, but that is what I think and that is what I feel. And I'm so glad that you, as well as your lawyer that is with you today. Thank you so much for sitting with her. I mean, a lot of lawyers won't do that, but hats off to you as well.
Thank you for having us, though.
Yeah. Okay, so Murray, am I saying that right?
It's
Marie?
Mari.
Mari?
No, just Mari.
Okay, Mari. Okay. All right. So, Mari, first off, we want to know who you are. So, tell us where you grew up at and give us a little insight about who you are.
Okay. Well, I am originally from Ohio, right near Springfield. That's where I was born. My dad was stationed at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and that's where I was born. I spent most of my life there. Small rural towns, folks with, very similar ideology, just didn't really get a lot of diversity in those spaces. And over time, I've kind of ventured off to other cities. I've lived in Tennessee. I've lived in Minnesota, which is where I went to college, where I met the children's dad. I've lived in South Carolina, Colorado, and now I'm actually moving to St. Louis. So I'm in the process of that for a job opportunity. But yeah, a lot of my life has just been, really trying to understand who I am. And I came from a very narrow-minded environment. So when I got to college and I had this opportunity to see the world in a new way, and I had an opportunity to take some classes about women's studies and learn about cultures outside of my own. I really fell into this incredible passion for people. And, so a big part of my journey has been trying to understand folks that come from different backgrounds than me. That's why I was really, really drawn to Nigerian culture too, because it just poured into who I am. And I just fell in love with it. And I was really drawn to, my ex-husband's family and that sense of community that I didn't really have. I came from, like I said, folks that were, it just depends on the person, but it was an environment that I could have ended up on a different path than I.
So what interested you? You said you were learning yourself in a very controlled, limited environment. Were you raised in the church?
In a way, yes. So my parents didn't really have rigid belief systems. They were trying to figure things out. They wanted to know God, but again, they came from, being very young parents. So for them, it was figuring things out. So I started out in Catholic school, started out in Catholic church, was in this Assembly of God church at one point, Baptist church. So I got to kind of encounter different ministries, different people. But then when I met the kid's dad and he's quoting scripture, he's telling me that at one point I mentioned, doctors told me I would never have children. And he's like, in the name of Jesus, you will have children. They immediately were, I was like, who is this man? He's talking with authority here. So in my mind, I was like, this is something I need to know more about. I am coming from this broken background. My dad had just passed away right before that happened. So I was really drawn to this idea and this vision that he painted for me, and he was really good at it. So, for me, it all happened very naturally, and I fell into it really easy, just given the environment I grew up in. So.
Right. Wow. That's amazing. It makes me understand the space and place by which you showed up in this religious community. Now, your kids, how many children do you have?
I have 3.
3 children. Now, are all 3 children by your former husband, Prophet EJ?
Yes.
Okay, that is great. Now, when you got to a place, of course, marriage does what marriage does, and now the marriage is over. How was that for you when it comes to going back to singularity or being a single mom, actually, now?
Well, much of my experience with their father, I was navigating like a single parent would. He was often absent from the home. There was often times where, I mean, significant periods of time where I was by myself with the kids, relying on my community of people, or even his family, or aunties and uncles. And, I had support in some ways, but, a lot of times I was doing it on my own anyway. So when we split finally, it was really traumatic for me. I actually had sworn, and trigger warning for anyone that's experienced domestic violence, but I had sworn, like, if I got out of the circumstance I was in that December evening, like, I was going to tell law enforcement the truth. It didn't matter what the consequences were for him. I was going to be honest that time. And
what point did you come to that? Give me a month, a year that you came to that resolve.
It was during the last incidents of domestic violence that occurred, after a period of about 2 years of no domestic physical violence, and that was in December of 2016. I think.
Okay, 2016. So
yeah.
Okay, so you've been a single parent as far as EJ is concerned for how many years?
Well, we separated right after that. So, I mean, since that time, but I actually remarried. I remarried on Loving Day in 2020 to my husband, Rashad. And we've been, being a family ever since that time. Their dad came back into the picture after moving out of the country for a period of time. I actually was in communication with his attorney. He had, for some reason, wanted to get in touch with me through him, and I couldn't hire a lawyer at the time. I didn't have the means to, so I spoke with his attorney directly. I've always been really open and transparent and tried to cooperate. We actually removed the order for protection that was extended. We removed it early in order for him, since he was returning to the U.S. and he wanted to see the kids. I allowed for that because I wanted what was best for the children. So, the experience has been really, really stressful. I kind of feel like I'm just like moving through a mucky circumstance over and over and over again. And I thought I had kind of moved out of it, but what I've been encountering is not new to me. I know you guys are just seeing this stuff and it's just becoming a public spectacle. But the reality is like I've been living this experience for quite some time. So.
And how long did it go that you were separated from your kids? Because you're alleging that Prophet EJ had the kids and you did not have them. So tell us, how did that happen? Was it a normal drop off and then it turned into something else? So tell us about that.
I'm not sure how much I want to share, but
okay.
I do want to say this. It didn't happen overnight. I feel like I allowed for my boundaries to be pushed too many times, and it was like this slow fade that just kept getting further and further from, my alignment. And I haven't had a good conversation with my kids since March of this year.
Wow.
So.
And Larry, if you don't mind, we'd like to stick to the procedure. We don't want to talk about the facts of the case because this is an active case in court. And we're trying to keep as much private because of the long-term impact on the children.
I 100% agree with that. But let me know if she can answer this question or not, or if you feel as though you want to, Mari. When I saw the video of a pastor having the authorities come into his church. Now, it used to be that authorities, it was just accepted that certain places were sovereign. And the church is considered one of those places, especially to me. So when I saw the authorities coming there, I was like, oh my God. And I watched him. I'm like, I can only imagine what's going through his mind, what's going through his head. So instantly, I was empathetic because the authorities are coming in the church. But I was also wondering what happened prior to this that didn't go right.
Right.
Because in order for authorities to come into your church like that, something is really, really wrong. And somebody has not listened to maybe a court or a judge. And then later on, I was sent some documents. But can you share as much as you can with that? Because you just don't seem like the kind of baby mom that would choose to do that.
Well, I appreciate the question. Frankly, that was the last thing I wanted. I had been trying, my legal team, myself, we have been trying to locate the children, for one, because I did not have a valid address for the kids for pretty much this entire year. I had been given an address, but they weren't always there. They were staying in other places. There's just a lot of paranoia, it seems, around people being able to locate my ex-husband. But really, there was no conversation about the kids were kidnapped, I need you to go in and get them. We had been trying to serve documents. We had tried to locate the children. He refused to provide address. Every conversation with my kids is very strange. They just get on and say they don't feel safe with me. They won't give me like real reasons why. There isn't a reason to my understand, like it doesn't make sense. So there's just a lot of paranoia surrounding it. So when we had went to law enforcement to actually go about this, I didn't have control about the time that they did it or how that they did it. That was something that just happened. Unfortunately, that's the only place we knew for sure he would be. Thankfully, my kids were not actually physically at the church, which was my prayer. Like I was so hoping that they wouldn't actually be there, just because I didn't want them to have that experience. I didn't know what that was going to look like. But yeah, we had attempted to serve him multiple times, and it was no success. Every address, there was a dead end. So at the time, it's just how it ended up happening. And I don't know if you can speak more to it, because I don't truly understand like the legal system and how it works. I just know that for me, I was like, why do we have to do it this way?
And there was a complete refusal to cooperate from the other side. Multiple times, different people reached out, attempting to get cooperation from the other side, an address, a way we can serve, acceptance of service, try to make arrangements to speak to the children. Any number of things were tried before we got to this point. And ultimately, evidence had to be presented before the judge. And these were special circumstances because there were no other options available because of a complete lack of cooperation and ghosting for all this time.
So what I'm hearing is that the reason why we even have a viral video is not because of the authorities entering in a energy that is invasive or intrusive. It's not because you wanted to maybe get your lick back or make him be embarrassed, to get him while he's doing what he has been doing for years, which is preaching. It was really because, from what I'm hearing, it was really because of decisions that Prophet EJ or his attorney and team, it was their actions or lack of actions that caused this to happen. Is that what I hear you saying?
That's correct. It's very unfortunate.
And I can tell you that Mari is an extremely private person. And the last thing she wants, as I had indicated before, is information about her private family life out on the web for her kids to Google in the future. And she doesn't want anyone talking about the salacious details of what's happened with her family. She'd like it to stay private. And she hopes that everyone really respects what's going on. It's a very sad situation for the kids, sad situation for her ex-husband. We hope that everyone will be well after this, and we hope that everyone can move on from this to a much better place in their lives and get the help that they need.
Yeah. Okay. So, attorney, the family law process, how was this supposed to go?
Ordinarily, we'd have a normal address and we'd send a process server to that address and we'd serve them. And then the records, the court records, would be set for a hearing in the ordinary course of things. But after you've attempted to serve or can't get an address to serve or keep hitting roadblocks because information that's been provided is not accurate, you have to move forward other ways. And like I said, it's unfortunate that things played out this way.
Do the court consider, or lawyers, or you guys that are in that world, do you consider whether or not the parent, in this case, Mari, has had any communication with the children? Is that also something that you consider in this?
Absolutely. The court considers a number of factors, and I can't talk about what happened at the individual hearings and specifically what the court considers, but overall, in these types of cases, they absolutely consider whether the kids have been secreted from the parents, the contact that the parents have had, the existing custody orders, and things of that nature. And the court considers all that before they take extraordinary action. And in this particular case, the court took extraordinary action. Things are now moving forward. There should be a guardian ad litem appointed in this particular case, which will further help protect the children. I think that the issues, the paranoia and the mental health issues will hopefully be addressed in due course. The kids' passports are now safe, so the kids shouldn't be removed from the United States. And I think everyone should be able to move forward. A parent's role is to protect their children. And that's what Mari has done in this particular case. They have to protect them and train them to be independent so they can go on and live to be productive members of society. They have to parent and not be their friend. And right now, that's what Mari is trying to do. She's trying to parent and put them in the best position possible to be successful adults when they get there.
Are the kids in her custody now?
No, they actually, we had a second hearing this past week, and we were able to get the kids, situated. They are back with their dad, and which is frankly why I was so upset when I heard that they were being live streamed. I was just, I was really bothered by that because I knew how vulnerable this whole scenario has made them. And sorry, but it was just disturbing. I couldn't watch it, but just knowing that they're being live streamed and they're being put on the spot like that. I've been in some really uncomfortable situations as a child, and that to me takes the cake. That is completely unacceptable, inappropriate, and it gives me even more indication of the mental instability that we're looking at on that side, and that he really just needs support. He needs people there that actually are seeing what's going on, that can identify maybe some of the things for what they truly are, because it's a lot of paranoia. It's a lot of things that just really don't make sense. And it's really heartbreaking to see it happen and knowing my kids are at the center of it all and people are exploiting their experience. And I don't like that.
Yeah. So are you going to be able to visit? Well, who's
I'm really grateful right now. I'll be honest with you, because there are a couple things that I got from this most recent hearing that I'm really excited about. One, I get consistent video calls with the kids every single day, which I love. I didn't have that level of consistency. Even though they're really upset with me and angry, I just want to keep showing up. I just want to keep being me. I just want to keep being like authentic and real and just show them that I'm there for them, even if it doesn't really make sense. And then there's also like reunification therapy. I think that's what it's called. So that to me is just like such a huge win for my family. And I'm looking very forward to us starting that.
Yeah.
This is one of the worst cases of parental alienation the attorneys and staff who've worked on this case have seen.
Wow. That's a statement. Now, who's the custodial parent?
We have joint legal custody. I have sole physical custody.
Wow. So you both have joint custody, which is proper, but you have what?
Sole physical.
That was a prior order that had been
The
entered.
prior order was sole physical custody.
And the issue is that neither one of us have really been abiding by that former order because of like the relocations I've moved and things like that. So that's kind of where it gets a little bit trickier, and we just have to redefine based off of where we are presently.
Okay. Now, I got one more question, and I want to say again, thank you so much for reaching out. I forgot who reached out to me. Somebody did. I think it was a paralegal. Reached out and set this up so that we can really pray better for you and EJ and the kids, because I know what this feels like. Just a little bit for 60 seconds. When me and the mother of my children were in a bad space after the divorce, there was a time where we were arguing back and forth about the kids because she had a new life, I had a new life, and it was just some things that was going on, and it was horrible. I remember us lifting our voice at each other outside the church. We never did that in our marriage, really. It definitely wasn't a consistent thing if it happened. And I just remember that day inside, it like I was dying a little bit, just a little bit. I just kept like dying, and then I still had to be dad, and still had to pastor the church. So, and I remember looking in the mother of my children's eyes, and she was broken. But I was so into what it was that I wanted to happen and how I wanted the outcome to be, I just ignored it. And so this situation, immediately I understood from your standpoint and I understood from his standpoint and how it affects the both of you, especially how it affects the kids. Now, before you leave, I just have two questions that I want to ask. Number one, Mari, have you ever been in contact directly or indirectly with Prophet Lovey? Because I hear Prophet EJ consistently sort of like saying that he is the one that is behind this, that he actually paid for your lawyer, he actually is funding all of these things. And so I want you to answer that question. You know, have you been in contact with him directly or indirectly? Second question, is he the one that's behind this?
I appreciate the question. I don't know this Prophet Lovi. He is not someone that I follow. I actually wasn't familiar with who this man was until all this stuff started happening. And yeah, it's kind of disturbing. The people that have been supporting me are women that are showing up for me. So I think it's really bizarre that's being spun this way. Yeah, it's kind of the way that it always goes. It's like women show up in those moments when you need them the most. And women from all walks of life, all different races and belief systems keep showing up for me. And frankly, it has nothing to do with Lovi. I don't know him. I don't care about what he's doing or his ministry. I'm non-religious. I'm not attached to any of that stuff. So.
Okay. Well, I sort of figured that because in the same commentary was saying that I had something to do with paying for your lawyer, supporting.
You can send me some money if you got it. Like, I'm down. Like, it's expensive, but
yeah, they were saying that I was paying for everything, and also that I was somehow or another in the bed with Lovey, literally and figuratively. That I was in the bed with Lovey to make all these things happen to EJ. And I just want to say, for those of you that are watching, I did not know who Prophet EJ was until all of that melee started some months ago concerning Prophet Lovey and him. And even then, I still didn't really get to know him until I started dealing with this and watching his response. So I'm in the same situation. One of the things that happened on the internet, and I'm pretty sure you know this by now, people just people. And they feel what they feel. There'll be people now that we're talking saying, I'm lying, you lying, and we are all in concert being paid by Lubbock attacking Prophet EJ. It's just how it is. People are the people that believe that President Trump is the reincarnated Christ. I mean, the people who believe that Kamala Harris is the reincarnated Satan. So people just going to people. But I'm glad that you were able to answer that question and disappear those things that aren't true. And I want to say to your lawyer, thank you. To see you protecting your client like this, taking time out your day, I love it. And I love lawyers like you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. But any last thing you want to say, Mari, you have the floor. And after that, we're complete.
Well, I just appreciate you having me and creating space for this conversation. I think it's really important that we prioritize the real things that are going on. Obviously, the kids, at the end of the day, that's priority one, but really it's about a larger issue relating to mental health. And we need to keep having these conversations, especially in the church and especially in our smaller communities, because we're the ones that are looking out for one another. But please don't share any more of my details, man. Larry, like, stop it. Like, no more of my details.
What details I shared are yours?
On the stream, the thing that really set me off, it was you said like the court docket number or whatever it was, and then you're saying my full name. I'm like, bro, nobody knows my business. Like, keep people out of my business. Like,
Okay. Well, hey, I was sent it, and I wanted to my job a lot of times, because people compare me to people that actually do salacious, horrible, terrible content. A lot of times I have to prove, listen, what I'm saying, this is the fact and this is the truth. And so I'm sorry if that made you feel uncovered, if it made you feel like somebody was intruding on you, because that was not my objective. But sometimes in doing this job, you have those things that happen.
I understand, but I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, it won't be happening no more.
Thank you.
And I appreciate how you've handled everything today, Larry.
All right, no problem. Thank you so much. Y'all take care, and we definitely gonna be praying for you.
Thank you.
All right, God bless. All right, so now we've heard it for ourselves. So all the lies. Well, let me say it like this: you can keep saying whatever narrative you want to say, but add to that narrative everything that Mari and her lawyer said on this platform today, because doing anything else would just not be integral. You can say what you feel, which I'm about to give you that and sign off, and then you can share both sides now. You share what he's saying on, on his lives and what she's saying, and then your opinion. Here's my opinion. My opinion is these are two people that went through a divorce with children, and they're struggling to find the new normal. And that is basically it. Mari ain't no horrible, terrible person as relates to the kids. Neither is Prophet EJ. Who and what they got going on in their life, we really don't need to be adding it to this conversation about this this custody proceeding. And that's what I feel about it. I believe that Mari is your typical lady. I believe Prophet EJ is not your typical man. And let me tell you why. Number one, I feel that he's dealing with some emotional, possibly even mental challenges. And let me tell you why. The reason why I think that is because of a few posts I saw he posted. Now, if I'm wrong in my opinion, I'm just wrong. But I'm only going by what I saw. And when I saw him make a post that was completely made up about me and about Lovey, I said, let me look at this whole situation again, because if he can do that not knowing me, with no proof, no evidence of anything, and then shop it like it's the truth, then to me that says this is someone who is dealing with something in their mind. That's why I say that. Another reason that I say that is because he's a foreigner, an immigrant rather, from my understanding, in this country. maybe he's not an immigrant. But what I am saying is that the culture and the world that he comes from and our world is different. He also was with, because there's a difference there. So that takes some processing, you guys. And then he was also close with Lovey. They fell out, and I know they loved each other. And he started a church. And as soon as he started the church, then the church is in a scandal. And now the cops came in at the church. This is a lot. So I feel like that he is in a battle. That's what I think. And that's my complete statement concerning everything. Listen, thank you for watching. Take a moment right now, hit like and hit share. And I'm going to leave you guys and I'm going to talk with you later on. God bless each and every one of you. Love you long time. More people love this the way I say, take care.